Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. I've been playing with a die that I recently got from the big catalogue from Stampin Up, and it creates this lovely lattice effect. It's a big die, and I've been trying to think of a really nice way to use it. I've come up with a few, but I'm going to show you a card today that we're going to make, and we're going to use the beautiful fanfare designer paper. It's just lovely, this paper. I recently did a scrapbook with it, which you can see a tutorial available on my blog for that. But today we're going to use this beautiful paper to make a card. So the first thing I'm going to do is do some cutting, and I need first of all just to put a little bit of snail right on the top of my card. Now my card base is soft suede, and I've cut out some of the designer paper the same size, and I've just temporarily or partly fixed that at the top so that I can cut with the big shot. So I'll just get the big shot. So the very first cut that we're going to make for this project is using one of the window frames dies, and it's the third largest one. And that's going to make an aperture that we can look through and see the lattice. So I'm just going to lay that onto the card base, and you'll see why now I've attached the designer paper, because we really want that designer paper to be cut in the same place. Okay, so that is going to take out those two layers, and we've now got an aperture in the card. And the next thing we're going to do is remove the platform, because we now are going to use the big die and make the lattice. And I'm going to make the lattice in very vanilla, and I've cut about a 10 centimetre, about a 4-inch square of very vanilla cardstock there, and run that through the big shot. And as you can see, all those little bits popped out. And you can save some of those little bits and make flowers with them later. That creates that lattice shape. So we're done with the big shot now, but we're going to actually want to attach the lattice so that it shows through the aperture. Now I'm going to do it this way round, because then we've got a little bit of the lattice to actually glue and to adhere on there. And I'm going to do this initially again with snail, just to hold in place while I work with the lattice. So just make sure we've got that lined up equally. And then I need to snip those little side pieces right off. And what I'm going to do is, before I stick this down, I'm actually going to snip them off just inside where the designer paper is going to be, so we don't see any of that edge piece. Okay, and now I'm going to get my Tombow, which is a nice strong glue, and make sure that that's adhered well round the sides and across the bottom. And now when I lift that up, whoop, a little bit of Tombow at the top again, at the top here as well, where we didn't have the snail. There we go. And now you can see that the lattice is neatly attached, and you can't really see how it's been held in. Now you can leave your card like this and just decorate the front, but I'm actually going to stamp and have an insert which is going to go on the inside there. So I'm going to add some colour to the inside, and the stamp sets that I'm going to be using today are The Open Sea and Daring Adventure, which I think are both work very well with the paper. So this is the text image out of The Open Sea. I'm going to just stamp that roughly in the middle with crumb cake ink, and then we're going to stamp some images, and these will be seen both through the aperture, and also you'll see them when the card is lifted up and opened. So this Very Vanilla is just a little bit, a quarter of an inch or a half a centimetre smaller than the main card, because we don't actually want to see anything all the way through. This is the text image out of Daring Adventure, which is a quote from Helen Keller, which is, "Life is a daring adventure or nothing," which I think is a fabulous quote. So that's going to be on the inside of the card. And then we'll have this image here, which I'm going to stamp there, and then without re-inking, just stamp that another couple of times. And then we will go in. Oh, I haven't mounted it up, which is why I couldn't find it. And have the globe image. So just getting plenty of kind of interest all over that card. Now I'm going to get a sponge, and with my crumb cake ink I'm going to sponge all around the outside of this card. And I can do the same on the outside. In fact, I might go around and do this in soft suede as well. Pick up a little bit of suede. Okay. And then this card is going to go on the inside of here. Okay. So I've cut that out now with the apothecary accents, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that suede that's left on that sponge around the edge, and I'm going to pop that up with a couple of dimensionals. So I'm going to just pop that up on the corner there. Now to attach this insert, you could glue that in on the inside, but I think what would be much nicer is some linen thread. So I'm going to just tie the linen thread, oops, around there, and knot it, do a little bow, just trim that off. So there's the card finished. So just to show you, as you would open it up, you would get that page and then the insert to actually write on. So I hope you've enjoyed today's project. Come back to Elizabeth's Craft Room again soon. I look forward to welcoming you.